Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You hear In the Booth with Jim Bunner.
I'm not making a word of this up. ABC News apparently thought these guys on a gun range were soldiers killing civilians. Evening, Chris.
Then you are home. The Valley's news talk and podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix.
Let's go! You're listening to A Savage Like Me with your host Cassandra Bailor on EBM Radio Live.
Hey guys, it's Cassandra Bailor again. You're listening to Savage Like Me on EBM Radio Live on the Central City Radio app. So just to kind of wrap up what we were talking about in the last segment, it is goals that you were setting for yourself for your New Year's resolutions. I have heard like the good side of setting goals for New Year's resolutions, and then, you know, people that really, really don't like it. I am always going to be a proponent of setting goals and setting hard goals and hard attainable goals. Realistic goals are going to be a little bit different. They're going to impact your life a little bit more. But I think it's really, really good to dream big, because you might not make it to your end game that year. But I think when it's reinforced in your head and talked about over and over again, you'll find a little bit more success in something like that. So this weekend, I had a really interesting thing happen with my husband and I. So we were kid-free for the weekend, and we were going to go to Old Town Scottsdale. And he's an architect, so he had a project down there, and we wanted to check out this space. And then we were going to do some day drinking and have a good time, and then go home and eat dinner. And then I asked him, he's a big time counsel for me, and I asked him, to tell me about his weight loss story before I knew about it. So in his early 20s, and he went into detail about what he was eating, the diets that he tried when he started working out, when working out was more difficult. And through this process, and like I said before, we've been really, really strict on our diets and working out, and we've both made some really good progress. Well, in talking about this cycle that he has kind of been on, we quickly reevaluated going to Old Town and going out and drinking and being adults. And we decided not to go. And it was kind of after hearing him say out loud how much he struggled with this weight loss for such a long time. And it really hit me too. It's like, God, we've got to get off of this cycle and make this more a sustainable way of life. And I think that so much comes from, your mindset surrounding weight loss. I think that there is like a healthy weight loss mentality, and then there is an unhealthy weight loss mentality. The healthy weight loss mentality is one where you are in control of what you're eating. You are working out, not into excess. But I've heard a lot of times too, you're obsessed. You're obsessed with losing weight. You're obsessed with working out. But I really haven't met anybody that was truly successful that wasn't obsessed with what they were doing. To me, obsession can literally translate to success or focus. If I lose focus in something, done, wrap it up. But with this new year, it's been completely different for me. I've never stuck to a New Year's resolution in my life. This year, I've stuck to it, and the results that I got from it are even more motivating than I kind of anticipated them to be. So I want to talk about some ways that when motivation wanes or you're lacking motivation, and I get that question all the time. I'm just not motivated. Where do I get your motivation? Number one, results are motivation in themselves. It's really frustrating when you're strict on a diet and you're working out and you're staying in a calorie deficit and you're counting carbs, or you're doing all of these things and the scale isn't moving. That can be really, really frustrating. However, if you stick it out past just the hard part, listen, like the middle is messy. The middle of any journey is messy, but that's where your magic is. That's where you prove to yourself that you can do anything. If you can make it through the hard middle, You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So results in themselves are motivating. Stay the course. Keep pushing through this stuff, you guys. Like and I'm not just talking about weight loss. That's what I talk about the most. But I mean it with your finances too. I mean, it's so important that if you set this monetary goal that every month I'm going to be saving money and you don't touch it. My husband and I follow the Dave Ramsey envelope system. When we're off of it, we're way off of it. But when we're on it, man, it feels good. And to see your emergency fund start building, and then to see, your Christmas present gift envelope start building, and then you go to, it's time for a haircut and you've saved money for it. So you pull the envelope and you don't have to dip into your checking or your savings account. All of these things, I mean, it doesn't just have to be weight loss. That's just the one that I'm most comfortable with. All of these things really, really stick out the hard part. There's going to be sacrifice. But if you go into it just with acceptance, then, I mean, it's so much easier when you hit a road bump or you hit a stall on the scale and it's just not moving down. Stay the course. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to what is going on and how you feel. I know a friend of mine who does intentional living seminars. She really, really encourages her students to have a feeling journal. And at first I was like, okay, feeling journal? Okay, that's a little cheesy. However, when I started to pay attention to like the patterns of my emotions throughout my day, I was like, wow, I am super motivated and really productive in the morning. And then it kind of just dies down by the end of the day. Well, I think if you can stick it out again through the messy part, you can really, really get some great results from that. So I think it's really important to talk out your thoughts and your goals out loud with somebody that you trust. And I don't use the word trust lightly. I truly mean that it's somebody that you trust that has your best interest at heart. I have a lot of friends, but I'm not going to ask everybody for advice. And I'm really choosy about who I take advice from. So I have a select, group of friends, and I go to them whenever I have a question. And one of my friends said, the best thing that I have done in my weight loss is to establish a support system. So remember a couple weeks ago when I had spoken about, weight loss eating turning into a disorder or food addictions. So just like someone who has a food addiction, just like someone who has an alcohol addiction, and they go through AA, they have a sponsor. They have an accountability buddy. So I think it's really important that if you want to be successful in weight loss, you have someone that you can talk to that's been there. They are going to be your accountability. Hopefully, they are a good enough and close enough friend that you can take some maybe hard criticism from. It's never easy to hear, you could be doing better. And I think if you did it this way, rather than the way that you're doing it, you might find more success. But as soon as you open yourself up to advice and criticism from people that care about you, because they're in the trenches with you too, you open up the door to an even bigger world of possibilities. So I think when you are, searching for your motivation, establish a support system. And it doesn't even have to be, like category specific. Find somebody that you find just natural inspiration from. Maybe they're just really outgoing or super bubbly or really intelligent or really down to earth or completely zen, and you need some of that calm in your life. Find someone in your life that fits that mold to help you be accountable to yourself. And people really like being that for the people that they love and care about. I know that if I called up my friend Crystal right now and I said, girlfriend, talk me out of getting this, double fudge chocolate cake, she would talk me out of it and say, does this fall in line with who you want to be? Does this honor who you are and your journey right now? She would tell me the hard stuff. Find somebody that's going to tell you the hard stuff. Another way is, so get inspired by those that you look up to. Okay, so I had a really, really cool experience happen at the gym this weekend. I had seen this girl working out, and I was really like, she just aesthetically has the look that I have wanted, and I don't see very often. I'm a fairly muscular woman. I have always been an athlete, so I put on muscle really fast, and for me, that's really attractive. And, you know, everybody's different, so, you know, like, I saw this girl, and I was like, wow. That's what I want to look like. She's tall like me. She's got incredible muscle definition. And I watched her work out, and my God, she was an incredible athlete. She was doing burpees and jumping up and doing pull-ups. And I was just absolutely blown away. So when I saw her doing that, I told my husband, that girl, that's who I want to be. Like, this is an idea that has actually come to fruition for me. Well, I made a pact within myself that the next time I saw her that I would talk to her. Well, I did it. And I talked to her this Saturday, and she turned out being way more than I thought that she would be, and way more inspiring than I ever thought. But I looked her up on Instagram. I found her, and she's got workouts posted and how she eats and the products that she uses. Now, I'm obviously going to be different. I'm in a different phase physically than she is. However, it was somebody to really look up to and get completely inspired by. I am fired up every day to go to the gym. I can't wait until my next workout, because I just watched a video of hers last night where she was deadlifting 405 pounds. No joke. And, you know, I was just like, oh, I'm ready to go. Let's chalk up, and I want to deadlift. It was just, it was incredible to meet her. And, you know, and I look forward to talking with her more. So I think that's a really good way to get inspired. And that's, I mean, Instagram, you don't have to pay for that. Those people can be inspiring, and it's for free. So if you feel lost or discouraged, know that the successful ones and the ones that you look up to felt exactly how you're feeling right now. But the difference is that they pushed through because success was important. The goal was important. I have another friend that I was talking to, and she was talking about how bored she was with her diet because she's practically been eating the same thing for a month. All right. We've all been there, you know, I definitely do. And I stay super, super boring with what I eat for the most part. It's usually ground turkey and broccoli, and that's what I eat. Or tuna and tomatoes. Like, it doesn't get a lot of variation. However, she said, and her goal is weight loss. She said, I don't want this broccoli. I don't want this turkey. And I stopped her and I said, wait. Yes, you do. Because what's the end goal? So there's means to an end, and then there's your end. A lot of times people get lost in the pursuit of their means, and the end game is completely forgotten about. You get wrapped up in the journey to get there and how hard it is and every step you have to take, and you get overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Well, guess what? You forgot what your end goal is. So you can say that you don't want the broccoli or the turkey. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to do these things. But yes, you do. Yes, you do, because what's your end goal? Is it to lose weight? Is it to get fit? Is it to be stronger? Is it to finally fit into the dress that you've always wanted to fit into? Is it to, you know, finally have the respect of people and not be treated like a second-class citizen because you're overweight? Because that happens. You know, like all of these things, like what you really want is this broccoli, is this turkey, because that is what's going to get you closer to your end goal, your resolution. So another way to, sorry, I'm looking through my notes right now, is to talk about the previous goals that you had if you kept them written down, or, you know, you had a way to access them from previous years. So I was looking back at my goals from like 2013 and 2014 when I was 450 pounds. And my weight loss goal for the year was 50 pounds. I ended up losing 100 that year, and it really put into perspective how far I've come and how I'm going to keep reaching for these new goals, and how important it really, really is to me to have a strong, fit body. So, with that too has kind of come this this different idea of myself, and I feel like I'm kind of redefining myself. And every time, those little negative thoughts like creep into my head, and you're not good enough, you're not a fit person, you're still overweight, you're still fighting this fight. Yeah, I am. And I don't think that because I think I'm naturally an ambitious person, that is ever going to stop. I'm always going to want more. Instead of that being daunting, though, it's really powerful. Like glass ceiling, bust through that. And that's something that I want my daughter to see too. We talked the other day, and she asked the question, they say that the sky is the limit, Mom. And I said, yeah, they do. And she's like, but the sky has no limit. It just keeps going. And we were like, yes, that's exactly what that statement means. Like, she really got it. And now if she can apply that to school and her own athletics and her own personal, development as a human being, gosh, what gets better than that? There's so much power and there's so much energy out there. Tap into that and start contracting within yourself what your end game is. I read this book one time called The One Thing, and it basically talks about how to get rid of all the excess crap that you have going on and how to focus on that one goal that you want for your life. And I did a lot of deliberation, and I had no idea. I have so many goals, but what's the one that is most important to me? And what I came up with is the one goal that is going to make me happy as an individual, not as a mom, not as a wife, not as an employee, but me as a person, down to my core. What is going to make me the happiest? That is to be a competing and winning CrossFit athlete. You have to do CrossFit to be a CrossFit athlete. So I signed up for CrossFit. And I'm working slowly towards that goal and, wanting to be a CrossFit athlete. I've got a competition in April that I'm doing. And one little statement that my husband made, we were talking about the different workouts that they had going on. And, off the top of my head, I can't remember like all of the workouts, but one of them is like 30 burpees, and then you go into 30 wall balls, and then you go into 30 back squats, and then you do the 30 burpees again, and the 30 wall balls, and then 30 back squats. It's a tough workout, and you have a 10-minute time cap to get in all the reps that you have. And I was really, really worried about it, and he just looked at me so simply and said, you can podium this. And for the first time, I actually felt like, oh my gosh, like I might be able to podium this. Because the burpees are the hardest thing for me. I'm going to say I love burpees because I'm trying to rewrite that contract in my head. I love them. I don't really. I love them. That's going to be really, really difficult for me. The back squats, not so much. And the wall balls, not at all. But these burpees, but all he had to say to me is, I really think that you can podium this. Pull these inspiring people in your life and utilize them where you feel you're lacking as well. A lot of times for my husband and I go to him for everything, but he has a really good grip on competition. He has a competitive brain. And I think when you are doing anything in athletics, having a competitive brain kind of gives you an advantage anyways. And so he's like, well, we need to train like this. And, he's also type A personality. So he's like, okay, we need to break it down like this. And you need to bust these into different segments. And, when I am into something, I'm either all in or I am all out. There is no in between. There is no hesitation. There is no lukewarm. I'm coming in hot. Like, whether you like it or not, here we go. And I feel like that's how 2020 has been for me. I've talked to a few other people that are having a lot of success too with the energy that 2020 is bringing. But I think so much of that is happening too because I am writing that contract within myself. I am writing within this brain right here, and every time I think about something being hard, I'm saying, yeah, but this energy though, let's capitalize on that. Let's use that in the gym. Let's push even harder, because would my idols stop? Would Sarah Sigmund's daughter, would she stop right now, or would she push through this workout? I've got a few more things that I want to share with you guys, so please hang on tight. I'm going to end this video here. We're going to stay live on EBM, and you're listening to EBM Radio Live on the Central City Radio app, and we'll be right back.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
And Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit